We are live, Jenny.
All right.
Here comes the intro. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. What's happening, all you amazing people out there in podcast land? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the one, the only, you love it, you know where to find it, Grow Clinton podcast. That's right, folks. Anywhere you get your podcast, just search Grow Clinton Podcast, and you will find us. As always, I am your host for today's show, Andy Sokolovich, President and CEO of Grow Clinton, joined in the studio by Jenny Home, our Director of Member and Community Relations. Jenny, what's happening? Happy Monday.
Oh, happy Monday to you. This is the time of the year when we all start going different places in the state.
It is,
You're
yes.
going to be going tomorrow.
Yep, Matt and I take off tomorrow for the Capitol. We have a Clinton County Day in Des Moines, where we will engage our elected officials, our legislators. We have 2 representatives in Norland Mumpson, and then Tom Detterman, District 69 representative, and Senator Mike Zimmer. Talk about what's going on at the Iowa Capitol, and we'll often also speak to some department heads and try to get everything figured out.
All of it. You get it all solved by the time you get home.
Hopefully, that's the goal. Jenny,
Yes.
we got sponsors.
All right.
Citizens First Bank sponsoring this mic check, making your finances and our audio crystal clear. These new mics in the Grow Clinton podcast are proudly sponsored by the bank that's always in tune with our community. Find them at gocfb.bank, banking as it should be with Citizens First Bank. Member FDIC. AdCraft Printwear and Sully Sports. AdCraft's been in the game since 1974. Brand new location located over there along Mill Creek, right off of 19th Avenue Northwest in the Lions Business Park. They started in 74, really just serving the local Iowa community in Clinton here. Now they're a cutting-edge operation providing top-notch printwear to teams and companies all across the United States. AdCraftUSA.com for all your custom printwear needs. Also, check out SullySports.com, and I encourage you to join the Sully Shirts Club. Every month, it costs me $24.99, but what I get is an exclusive members-only custom T-shirt along with 10% off everything in the store. You can't beat it. Miles Communications, they power the Grow Clinton podcast with wicked fast, high-speed internet, also offering television and telephone services to meet your home or company's communication demands. If they're not in your neck of the woods, they are on their way. More information, milestelephone.com. Lyondell Basell Clinton Complex, they produce resins, high-density, low-density polyethylene type right here at the Clinton plant that go into a variety of products, including household and industrial bottles, pressure pipes, food packaging, PEX tubing, outdoor durable goods, kayaks, construction and roofing materials, and toys. LYB is committed to being a responsible, engaged neighbor in the communities where they operate through volunteerism, charitable giving, and partnerships with local organizations. LYB aims to strengthen communities by supporting education, sustainability, and safety initiatives. Lyondell Basell, solutions for a better tomorrow. Great show today, Jenny.
Oh, I know. You talk about getting busy.
Getting busy,
Yep.
Getting ready for spring, Jenny.
March is here.
Yep. So we got the gutter expert in the house. We have Matt Sanderson from Gutter Works, owner, laborer, everything that has to happen. This is the guy to call. Matt, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So Gutter Works. First, let's talk about how'd you get into the business of installing gutters?
It's a good question. 1995, I started my construction career as a carpenter, traveled the nation for a little while building scaffolding. Took a head job at my local union office as the head union rep for several years. And then in 2004, an election went the wrong way at the national level, and I ended up going on my own. So rather than go back to work with my tool bags for somebody else, I decided to start my own company because I could never find a good gutter guy. So
now you've been in working in this industry for over 20 years.
Yeah,
you've served thousands of customers. Now, do you just focus on residential, or you do residential and commercial?
No, we're both residential, commercial, and I kind of add a third category in this area, and that's ag.
Okay.
Agriculturally, we work for a lot of farmers over the years.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I assume barns have gutters,
yeah,
right?
Right.
yeah. If it's a good barn, it's got gutters.
Yes.
There you
So
go.
you came recommended by a mutual friend of ours a few years ago. You installed new gutters on my home, which desperately needed it. I had the old kind of aluminum gutters that were peeling back, and they were just janky and needed to come down. And Matt came and did a great job installing some new vinyl gutters for me. And without they are vinyl,
Well, no, they're aluminum.
aluminum.
Yeah, they're seamless aluminum.
Nice, seamless aluminum. And the beauty of these gutters is they were much larger in diameter than my old ones. So while the old ones could not capture the amount of water that was coming off the pitch of my roof, it was just kind of flowing right over the gutter and then causing some damage. Matt hooked me up, got some big ones. I don't even know how large they are, but they catch all the runoff.
So do you suggest when you get gutters, because this is coming up in my life, I'm afraid, that you put the, what do they call the mesh on top of it?
Gutter covers.
Gutter covers.
And-
Oh, is that what they're
Yep.
called? Gutter covers?
They go by 400 different names plus
Okay.
because there are 400 plus different products on
Right.
the market right now. So if you're looking for a gutter cover product or a gutter protection product, you could spend months researching, it, which I have. So
And do they make a
Okay.
big difference?
they do make a huge difference in some cases. So for every good gutter protection product, there are about 24 bad ones. So they can either be a very large headache, and we all know a neighbor that says those are junk
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they put a junk one on. So
Yeah.
So you
there's
gotta
no
have the
truer,
expert.
there's no truer statement in the gutter industry than when it comes to gutter protection, you get what you pay for.
Now, obviously, gutter protection, having gutters that are effective, often an afterthought until you start realizing that you have some foundational damage in your house.
Yep.
You got some water leaking in from underneath the windows. It's all because the rain needs some place to go.
Right.
And the purpose of the gutter is to make sure that that water is directed to the right spot. So what do you recommend on a residential house? First, like the size of the gutter, and then B, like how often should you clean them? And then also, I'm so glad to see that your hanging system is much more advanced than the old, like gigantic 8-inch nails.
Yeah. We could start with the 8-inch spike scenario because there are a lot of listeners out there who have those old spike and ferrule installation gutters still.
So when you look at those, how old are they? At their
They're over 23 years old. So at this stage in the ball game, I started 22 years ago. And when I started 22 years ago, spike and ferrules had just stopped being used, and hidden hangers that screw into the fascia or the mounting bracket, screwing into the house versus the old nails. And those nails, if you see them on your gutters or on old gutters, they're the size of a pencil.
Yeah.
And they don't have any threads on them. So when they drove them in 22 years or more ago, the frost goes in every year in this area. And just that level of frost going in every single year rots the wood. Pretty soon they start to poke out. And the biggest mistake homeowners make is they climb up there and they beat them back in.
And then they bend the gutter.
They'll
doing
either
so.
split the fascia wood that it's attached to by driving that thing in, or I've actually seen them turn sideways because there's nothing left to hold the hole.
Yeah.
So they'll turn them sideways and bang them in again. And pretty soon you're driving through a 1x fascia board with a pencil-sized nail, and it's just going to split it. So then they end up with a bigger problem.
Okay, so
I'm not going to say I haven't done that before.
Yeah.
well, it's quick.
Everybody's done it.
People have becoming popular at metal roofs.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you suggest for that? Because I happen to know that if you have a metal roof, that snow slides.
Yeah.
And it'll drag your gutter right off. What's the best thing to do?
There are at least once a week, and as a matter of fact, this morning we had the same situation. I got a new metal roof. All of a sudden, my gutters aren't big enough. They're not catching the water. So we make several different sizes of gutter. 5-inch gutter was standard for every shingled house for years and years until last summer when Milwaukee got 13 inches of rain in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we all know that storms are getting more prolific. Things are happening weather-wise for whatever reason that we haven't seen before. I haven't come off of that 6-inch gutter machine setting for over 15 jobs in a row.
Well, I'm sure the insurance dictates that.
Yeah,
right,
because nobody wants to pay out that.
No.
It has become 50% of the week instead of 1 out of 5 days that we're doing 6-inch gutters now. That bigger gutter gives you the option of putting a metal roof on someday, because if you put a metal roof over top of 5-inch gutter, it will not keep up. So to answer your question, it will not keep up.
My gutters all started. It just, when you have the metal roof, just so you know, the snow will start melting. It slides off in a big sheet,
Yeah.
sits in the gutter and bends your gutter
Oh yeah.
out. And then in the summertime, your gutter just looks like just wavy.
Yeah. Your
It's
gutter's
awful.
trashed.
Mhm.
It's got to get
trashed.
replaced.
It's trashed.
So we, for years, farmed out the snow guard section of our work to somebody else who was doing it. And that goes above the gutter on the metal roof, and it stops that avalanche that you're
Okay.
referring to.
Yeah.
It stops it from impacting the front lip of the gutter. And for years, we always gave that work out to somebody else who did it. And then those people quit answering their phone. So unfortunately, you're looking at the snow guard guy now.
Nice.
So I tell all my customers with metal roofs, you have to have them.
Right.
Otherwise, the gutters are going to get ripped off from the snow and ice. And if you have to have them, and I can't give you a name of somebody, it looks like I'm stuck doing
You're
it.
doing
So,
it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
we've done thousands and thousands of feet of snow guard installation.
Now,
Wow.
I've lived in some older homes, and just like, asphalt shingles, they start to deteriorate over the years until eventually you got to replace the roof. But one thing I noticed just from getting up and down on the roof is you start to see some of that asphalt or whatever it is, the granular
Mhm.
Yeah.
rock or gypsum. I don't know what it is, but it starts to rain down with the rain and the snow, and then settles in the gutter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that diminishes the holding capacity of the gutter as far as how much water can sit in there before it gets to the downspout. But granules by themselves have never clogged a gutter.
Mhm.
They will either wash down through the downspout or they'll just sit in that tray of that gutter. I have seen a gutter full to the top
Mhm.
with granules because the whole roof was just
Yeah, it's
neglected
falling
for
apart.
30 years. So
Yeah.
I've seen that situation where then that gutter can't withstand the weight, of course, because that's a lot of weight sitting on that fascia board, or it just doesn't have the holding capacity for water. So if your roof is in bad shape and starting to shed those granules, you get an inch of granules in the bottom of it, it's not going to stop the gutter from working. It's just a good indicator, especially if somebody is there cleaning the gutters, maintaining the gutters, or putting covers on them to let you know, hey, time for a new roof.
Yeah,
And we don't do roofs. We just have a lot of local guys that
Mhm.
do. And
sure.
they
So
do a good job.
how do you keep, this is another might have been me thing. How do you keep animals out of there?
It's pesky tree rats.
Yeah.
I have been hired
Crows.
on multiple projects to put our gutter covers on a house with 0 trees.
Oh,
All
yeah.
because squirrels were building nests and birds were building nests in their
Birds.
gutters.
And they start
Yeah.
shooting
Yeah.
through your soffit,
Yeah.
and they
And-
try to get in the warm
and they
attic.
get in places where it's going to cost you way more than my covers. So I have multiple jobs, probably 6 in 20 years where I've been
Yes.
paid. There isn't a tree in sight. 2 blocks away, the nearest tree. Brand new construction homes. One in Bettendorf last summer, the guy just said, I'm sick of birds. Put the covers on there and keep them out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, because they're in there and you
we
feel-
guarantee
yeah.
the gutter to never clog, and that includes bird nests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We'll keep
crazy.
everything out of it.
So Matt, I'm a little bit of a risk taker. So I clean my gutters,
Mhm.
and I often will get up on my roof
Uh-oh.
and adjust the balance my weight just to deal with the pitch of the roof,
Mhm.
and then I clean my gutters out with a leaf blower. Is that the best way to do it? There's got to be a safer way.
I can tell you it's a story real quick.
Yeah,
Do
that's what
it.
we're here for, man.
If this will teach him a
Will
lesson.
scare me not to do
Yes.
it.
I was a carpenter for a very long time, and I had a friend who was a carpenter, and he's since retired, and he lives out on the way to Goose Lake
Mhm.
in rural Clinton. He did the same thing on his roof with the leaf blower after I put his new gutters on. Then he called me the following year and said, I'd like you to put, I hadn't heard from him for a year. I'd like you to put covers on my gutters. So I went out to see him, and he come out hobbling, and I
Ooh.
found out he spent over a month in the hospital with a
Ooh.
broken back. A little bit of water had splashed out of the gutter while he was leaf blowing it. He stepped on a wet spot, woke up a half hour later in the ambulance.
Mm.
So busted
Yeah.
back.
Well,
It's never, ever, ever going to be cheap to put good gutter covers on, but I promise you it's going to be cheaper than falling.
and
Yeah.
safe.
And you see these things on TV where they make these extensions for your hose and your leaf blower. And I mean, what's the most effective way DIY to clean out your gutters?
I would do them off of a ladder.
And do you offer gutter cleaning?
We
Yeah.
do. We
Okay.
clean gutters, and
I'd rather do that.
sometimes
Yeah.
it takes a couple of years of us cleaning them on a regular schedule before the customer just says, you know what, I'm sick of worrying about whether or not I got you here soon enough. Whether or not when you're laying in bed at night and the thunderstorm rolls in at 2 a.m. and you hear that first crack of thunder and it wakes you up, and then you remember, oh, I was going to clean those gutters. Next morning, you could either have wet drywall on the inside of your living room, or your soffit could be rotten, or you could have a basement full of water.
And that's real, because I had some landscaping done at my house, and the gutter, the downspout got kicked off. So it was going straight into the foundation, and I had no idea how water was getting into my basement, and it ruined a lot of stuff.
Oh, sure.
I had to get it fixed.
No, it's important. I mean,
yeah.
I remember one year I failed to clean out my gutters. Same thing. We got a big storm, and the ground wasn't completely thawed yet. So the water really had no place to go. And as a result, it was raining over the side of my house. This is before you installed the new gutters. And I believe I got the 6-inch ones. Because the gutters weren't effective. They weren't capturing the rain.
Yeah.
And it just kind of flooded the entire front yard.
Right.
Because the water needs someplace to go.
Yeah.
And now, so when you install gutters, people think that's also a DIY project. I'm going to go buy some pre-cut gutter at the local big box store. But I mean, there's some math involved in installing gutters, not only how much you need from a square footage, or excuse me, from a length perspective, but also the pitch of the gutter itself.
Yeah. Nobody knows a home better than the owner does. So I personally, when I get a phone call from somebody looking for gutters, I personally meet with every homeowner at their house, because nobody can tell me their issues better than they can. So that's the first thing, is you take that do-it-yourself mindset and you look at your home and you tell me what you've historically had problems with. And then in all cases, we can either address it or replicate what works. And that seems to be the best business model for us. I try to tell all my customers, I'm going to treat this home like it's mine. And if I lived here, what would I do with it? Because I'm actually going to be the one that shows up to do the work as well. So when they're talking to me, they're not talking to a sales guy, although I do have to do the sales part of it. I'm also the guy that shows up to do the work. I'm also the guy that orders their material. I lay out the schedule for when we're going to do it. I coordinate with their other work that's going on, that type of stuff too. But when it comes to do it yourself, it can be done. It can't be done seamlessly unless you own a gutter machine like mine.
Yeah.
And that means you're going to have joints. And I personally, after 22 years in the market, will look you right in the eye and say, I can't make a joint that won't leak someday.
Yeah.
So if you're better than I am, then good.
No, you did.
But I can't do seamed gutters. As a matter of fact, if somebody calls and wants me to put a seam in a gutter, I refuse to, because they're just going to be mad at me someday when it leaks.
I like the idea that it's all you. I mean, from start to finish, people will be doing it. I know that means a lot to people.
Yeah, no other crew. My son helps me now, and Mary, my wife, goes with me on most days and helps as the ground crew. And we have control over the quality because we don't give our work out to anybody else.
Right.
So as much as I like my customers, I just want to see you again in the grocery store someday and say hi. I don't want to hear from you on the telephone. And the best way for me to do that is to make sure we're on every project.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with an estimate for a typical residential house, let's just say it's a 2,000 square foot, it's 2-story. How do you start working on that estimate? Is it purely based on the amount of material? Do you have flat rate labor costs? Where does it all come from?
We, over the last 22 years, have been in a industry that pretty much bids everything by the foot. And it's, for lack of a better term, it's very frustrating. Bidding by the foot doesn't make any sense for a contractor, because if I have one piece of seamless gutter that's 80 feet long, and then I have 10 pieces on another house that are 8 feet long, that's still 80 feet.
Yeah, right.
That's the same price, right? That makes no sense. I'm going to be there all day on this one, and I'm going to be there for an hour and a half on the one piece.
You're having to cut.
So bidding by the foot doesn't make any sense. So when people call, but that's the way, even the insurance part of the industry works that way. They price stuff by the foot, and I've never understood it. And what I've seen over 22 years is people that do it by the foot or rely on by the foot pricing end up 5 years and they're gone.
Yeah.
And it just creates, and we don't want to be gone. That's the thing for us. This is going on 2.5 decades, 6,000 plus projects. So every project is unique. The greatest news for the homeowner, the commercial business owner, or the ag guy is no estimate has ever been charged for. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to charge you. And at the end of the day, whatever I told you is what the number is. So in 22 years of doing business, I've never gone back to a customer and said, I know I said this, but it's going to be this. And we all know somebody who's had that experience.
Yeah,
right.
You don't You don't tinker with French drains, do you?
No,
Okay.
I've done one at my house, at both houses, and in about 5 years they silt in the
Yeah.
Midwest and fill in. So I still have one that I put in 4 years ago at my house, and it's still working, but it's silting in by the year.
What is it?
So it's dig a big hole, put rock in it, and drain into it so that the
Then
water
they make
gets out of there.
perforated PVC. That I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're going to go underground, you want to use Schedule 40 PVC instead
Mm.
of that perforated tile.
Okay.
And Schedule 40 PVC in the Midwest will not freeze or crack. So if you're going to go underground, that's the way to go.
Interesting. Again, we're talking to Matt Sanderson, owner, proprietor of Gutter Works here in Clinton, Iowa. Not only when you came out to my house did the estimate not cost me anything, but the price that you presented me was fair, and you knocked that out in a day.
Ooh.
Yeah, most
Ooh.
jobs are one day. It's our
I
business.
mean, I left for work. I came back and I had brand new gutters.
Really? In one day?
It was just him.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
and
not
I
what
had
you
some.
usually experience.
I had some complicated angles and stuff on my roof
Yeah.
because I had a porch put on the back. And so there was the section where the house, the second story kind of came over, and then there was a little window, and then there was the roof of the porch, so that there wasn't a gutter right there. So the rain had to be kind of like diverted to I guess what direction would that be? The east,
Mhm.
and then down, and it was
Yeah.
kind of complicated, but you knocked it out, man. And it was
Wow,
awesome.
one day.
We've done some high profile projects in Clinton, but we've also done one piece of gutter on a tool shed in the back of in somebody's yard. So
What's the most difficult job you can get?
we've done some really high work in the past. I would say anything with the 40-foot ladder is difficult. So there's one hotel in Fulton by the Shell station there at the 4-way on 84. I guttered that. That one took me 2 days when they built it. I guttered the casino in 2 days.
Whoa.
The casino told me when they build it, we're not having gutters. This is a Santa Fe style architecture, and there's no gutters in the print. I said, you'll call me later. It was 4 years later before they called, but we did gutter the casino. I did. I guttered the casino. I guttered the Candlelight when they built it.
Nice.
I guttered the hotel in front of Kohl's that they use for the railroader. Those type of projects are probably the hardest because when you're working gutters, you can only climb up the ladder and then work on an area this big. And then you have to get back down and move the ladder again. It's not like a roof where you can just walk across
Yeah.
and get to where you're going. Not that roofing's easy, because it's not.
Though I did for, I think I dabbled for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'll never do
I'm
that.
glad I'm not a roofer, but at the end of the day, the 40-foot ladder with wind blowing is probably one of the most difficult.
I did a
projects.
roof once. No.
No, I mean, you wonder, they all have amazing tans throughout the summer because they're up there sweating. Can you imagine the heat reflecting off those asphalt shingles? And
yes.
That's why, Jeff Beckwith here in town doing a lot of commercial work and stuff, but he started almost 44 years ago.
Yeah.
That company's been around. He had a old pickup truck and an extension ladder, and it just goes to show
how
you
start, huh, man?
hard work.
Yep.
Hard work. But no, you come well recommended, not only from us here at Grow Clinton, since you remember we offer referrals, but again, a lot of my friends who are in the construction industry, when I told them I need to get new gutters, our mutual friend, Josh Mooseman from JT Contracting, he called me and was like, you got to give Matt a call. He'll come over and knock it out. And I think you were over the next day. And then the following day, you just installed it. And it was
problem
like,
solved.
I didn't have to worry about it.
See all over town too.
One of the biggest issues that people are faced with today, or my next customer is going to be faced with, is word of mouth has shrunk to the point where now everybody Googles what they want to do.
Everything. Yeah.
And the biggest trap that homeowners are going to get into is when they Google gutters. We do what we can to advertise and maintain that presence on the first page, so you don't have to go scrolling to look for us. But a lot of times you really have to, as a homeowner, you really have to be careful about the ads that pop up, because they look like local people. And they're not. They're national advertising sponsored ads that are just going to hire the cheapest sub they can find in the Midwest and send them out to your house. And somebody that you haven't met and somebody that you don't know is going to show up to do the work. And then guess what? When you have a problem, they're long gone.
I was going to say,
it's just like these storm chasers.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the people that come around after a significant weather event and they're handing out flyers, they have a 563 number on the flyer. You just pull that. You can get a Google number and get a 563 area code, and then you call them and they come by, but they do not warranty their work. And They disappear, and then you call them to make good on the fact that they did not do a great job on your roof,
right?
And they're nowhere to be found.
And that's one of the things about guys like Josh at JT and all the roofers and construction companies in Clinton area proper that we work for or that we get referrals from. We enjoy those more than any because the customer's already happy when we get there.
Nichols says, John Nichols says the same thing.
Yeah.
Because he said, that's the best thing that's ever happened to my business is when these fly-by-nighters come around. He's like, I used to get mad seeing their trucks rolling around. He's like, but now I'm just sitting back waiting for the phone to ring because guaranteed within a month of their departure, somebody's going to be calling because a chunk of roof blew off or something like that.
You know, and you have to do your research, and it's great to go local because who needs that?
Yeah. It used to be really easy. You open up the yellow pages and there's a couple of guys and you call them because and for us, people see our truck. They know our truck driving around town. It's all over the place. The roofers know who we are. The contractors know who we are and vice versa. And we refer each other out all the time. And one of the biggest obstacles for a homeowner is how do I not do all the research? You know, I'm so busy now. I don't want to worry about this stuff. So if we can work together as local companies to get the word out on who's reliable, then we give you out a trustworthy number and you can check our references and know that we've done work locally for people. It probably puts the homeowner in the best because that's your house. It's not some fly-by-night investment that you're going to dump on somebody someday. If you don't, the things about roofing and gutters, especially, they're recession proof. If you don't fix those, your house is going to fall down.
Right.
You may not change the color of your siding every 5 years, you know, or pour a new sidewalk. You may deal with stuff like that. But if you don't fix water, it will tear your house down.
And you don't want to do anything twice. I mean, if you do something and it's not a good job, you got to do it again. It's going to cost you the same.
Plus, don't take the risk and climb on your roof.
Andy, shame on you.
My wife wanted those great LED lights along the bottom part of our soffit.
Yes.
And I was up there on the peak of the roof in the dark trying to install these lights.
Yes.
Then she looked back after I installed them and went, I should have got the bigger ones. I don't really like. I was like, okay, well, guess what? They're there forever. I'm not taking them down.
Yeah, that's it.
It's becoming more and more popular now. You see those lights that people put under there.
If I bid gutters to a husband and wife and they're anywhere over 50 years old and they have leaves and the husband's been cleaning them personally, almost every wife says, I don't care what he says, you put the covers on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it is scary.
You know, I've always said my wife is the only one that wants me to climb. The rest of the wives don't want them to climb. And not to say that my wife doesn't get nervous when I'm up high, but she would rather have me doing your work for you than you climbing up there and risk it because she knows I've got the experience to get it done right. And then if I go up there, more than likely we're only doing it one time. I'm not coming back to clean them more than a couple of times because you're going to change your mind about paying the cleaning bill and just do the one time gutter cover thing.
So what do you offer here? We're getting into spring. I did see when I was cruising around on a Facebook page, do you have a special going on right now?
Yeah, I mentioned before that 6-inch is becoming more and more prevalent. And I've actually been on 6-inch for 3 weeks. So with the increased amount of storms that we're seeing, the weather's more severe, and 6-inch versus 5-inch is not obtrusive to the eye. You can't tell the difference really when you pull up to the house. If you had them both in your hand, you would see a significant difference. But more and more customers are thinking about a metal roof, or they have a neighbor who's thought about a metal roof, or they've thought about the heavier rains, or they've got a corner that just never keeps up with the rains. We have decided for the spring, before more price increases hit with the aluminum market. We've all heard the word tariff. And last year I had to explain tariffs a million times to customers. And I thought we were done with the price increases. And I just got a notice in February from my supplier that said, we're not done. We're probably going to see 10 to 15% in the aluminum market across the board this spring. So we decided to do last year's pricing for all the gutter covers because it's going to take another month before they adjust pricing wise. So we're doing last year's pricing for gutter covers, and we're doing a free 6-inch upgrade. So if you get a bid from us, it doesn't cost you any more to do a 6-inch gutter versus a 5-inch gutter. And that's going to last probably through the month of March. We won't be able to maintain that free upgrade after these next increases hit.
But that's a great deal.
Yeah, you can't get a bigger locally. You can't get a bigger. Let me say this correctly. You can't get a larger seamless aluminum gutter than 6-inch. It's the biggest you should or could put on a house here. If we were in Florida, it's a different story. They got some 7-inch machines down there, and 8-inch machines exist. It's not common here. I don't know if anybody doing seamless aluminum runs of 80 feet long or more, and 77-inch. But
it's so worth it though to do that upgrade. I mean,
even
like
if you have a 5-inch gutter
roof.
system,
I had a metal roof, and it would have been great to have that extra.
So lock yourself in right now. It's not going to last, folks. You can get a no-cost upgrade to 6-inch aluminum gutters. Again, Gutter Works right here in Clinton, Iowa, locally owned and operated, comes jam-packed with a ton of referrals from reputable contractors. Matt's been doing this for a long time, and I will say again, when you did my house, you were there in the morning and you were gone by the afternoon.
Incredible.
And I came home to nice, bright, white 6-inch aluminum gutters.
Feels good.
Never had to worry about it since. I mean, I used to back when I bought the house, I'd come out of my porch during a heavy rain. I'd look up and just watch the water drain over the gutters, smack dab onto my porch. And then you could see the concrete that was back there in the porch starts cracking, and it just causes so much damage. Water is the ultimate destroyer, honestly. Next to fire
and water.
It'll really do some damage. So call Gutter Works. I have Matt's email address in the show notes, as well as his direct phone line. Matt, as we go to close out this show, is there anything else you want to tell our listeners?
No, at the beginning there, I was appreciating your sponsor list, and that was a pretty solid list of sponsors. I'm trying to remember them now, but Citizens First.
Yep.
We've guttered 3 of their locations.
Oh,
awesome.
Sully Sports Building right over here at AgCraft. We gutted their building at the foot of the bridge when they built that. Miles Communication, we have not worked for, but I gutted the house next to Miles Communication and Miles.
Nice.
Oh my
and
gosh.
who was your last sponsor?
Lyondell.
We have worked at the plant hanging gutters out there.
That's
too.
crazy.
So,
wow.
Yeah, they have a lot of contractors out
They
there
do.
now. And the big turnaround comes up towards the end of July. And it's going to be, is it July or June? End of June?
It's the end of June, and they'll be here till like September.
Yeah, it's a long one this year, and they're basically bringing in probably about 2,500 contractors.
Thousands of people.
So it's going to be busy. So that being said,
have you had anybody on the podcast that's ever said, I'm not really sure what to do with my hands?
Yeah, all the time.
What do I do with my hands? Where do
Car runs real good.
We had a group of folks from Purina come out, and they were making fun of their former boss. He's now moved up to St. Louis, and our good friend Candace has taken over the site manager role there, but he must have had something going on, like some kind of tick or something. And he was looking at the camera, away from the camera. So they were trying to make fun of him by emulating what he did when they were on the podcast. So no, it's always good fun. And we love doing this show. We love being able to support our members. And it's just a great way for us to get the great news out there that we have some amazing folks right here in our community that do stellar work. So do not hire the fly-by-night guys that come around doing the storm chasing. Reach out to somebody who's reputable, proven, and has a quality background and tons of experience. And that is Matt Sanderson. Gutter Works. Again, his email address and telephone number are in the show notes. Be sure to check that out. You can also find them on Facebook. Just search Gutter Works Clinton, and his Facebook page pops right up. Matt, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jenny.
Jenny, you got a busy week. You're traveling to Des Moines too. When are you going?
I'm going next week. I'm going Thursday and Friday, and then I'm probably going to come right off the road to go to our Shamrock event.
I'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So we're coming back. Where am I at on the day of the Shamrock? Oh, that's right. I'm in. Yeah, it's a tourism conference.
Yeah, Algina, right? I know, we're busy.
Back to back. Oy. Well, I will say right now I'm at another member of ours, Tandem Tire.
Yeah.
Getting my inner and outer tire rod replaced on the front left side of my truck on the driver's side because
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he's great over there.
They do a great job.
They really do.
And their snowplow guy is great.
Yeah. That's the snowplow guy too. But no, what I love about Tandem is, Mike, who operates the Clinton location, he made a video because very rarely, according to him, did they see on these newer Chevy trucks that a tire rod just kind of comes loose. And there was a little bit of like an inch and a half either direction of play in my driver's side front tire. So he took a video of it. He could have just told me like, you need new tire rods.
Right.
But he didn't. He took a video to show me what was going on because I don't put my truck up on a lift. How am I ever going to know?
Right.
I did notice a little bit of shimmy at a higher speed. So that's probably what caused it. But They're just so awesome to deal with. We've had even my good friend Ari over at Citizens First Bank. She blew a tire out on a snowy night on a long Highway 30 just outside of Morrison. And I went out there and ended up getting her tire fixed, but she basically needed all 4 new tires. So he hooked her up with a decent price. So check them out too. Yeah.
He's been good to me too.
Lots of good members here, folks. Again, Grow Clinton, 450 plus members. We do not survive without our members. We don't generate revenue outside of member investment. So if you are interested in becoming a member of Grow Clinton, just go to growclinton.com, stop by our office, 721 South 2nd Street. You can email Jenny. That's JHOLM, home at growclinton.com. She'll hook you up with some membership information. Tons of resources available. You can come on the podcast. You can join us on the radio. We can help you out with some marketing initiatives, help you out with social media, all sorts of things. We also have a new partnership with New Boco, which is a shortened version for the New Bohemian Company out of Cedar Rapids, and they specialize in entrepreneurial development. So if you're like Matt and you're cutting your teeth, building your own business, and you want some subject matter expert advice, Alex Taylor from New Boco is here twice a month. Happy to sit down with you and talk about everything from finance to marketing to identifying your target customers, all sorts of things. And that is no cost to our members.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Thank you again. Listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. We are just about to approach 220 episodes.
I know.
Getting closer. It's amazing how long we've been doing this and how effective it's been.
And it's been so much fun.
Yeah. My name's Andy Sokolovich. Until we speak again, folks, stay classy. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.